Hey YouTubers, 95 speed GTA. Today we get to work on a 1989 Buick Park Avenue with a 3800 motor. That's a 3.8 liter V6, in case anybody was wondering. And this is what we're going to be doing today. We have a compressor that took a shit, and if you could see it, the clutch is totally gone and it's seized up. And not only that, we have a burning smell coming from the engine, and it smells like burning tranny fluid, and I got to figure out where that's from. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be taking out the AC compressor and replacing it with a AC delete pulley. So if none of you guys have ever seen it before, Dorman makes it. For the 3800 motor, don't quote me on this part number, because I don't know if a 1989 3800 and like a 1996 or 2005 3800 are different, but it's part number 34202. Okay, so this is what you get here. This is your AC delete pulley. It's pretty simple. We're going to use the existing bolts from the AC compressor, and well, what we're going to do is we're going to get the compressor out first. Before we do that, there's a little discharge notice on air conditioning refrigerant. Well, they suggest that you use EPA approved recovery equipment, and here's the thing. There's no charge in this air conditioning system in this car. It has long escaped, so there's no charge to get rid of. So all I really have to do is loosen the lines and remove the compressor. If you guys are doing the delete pulley and your AC worked and you do have a charge, well, if you guys love our ozone layer, please bring it to your local shop and have them remove the refrigerant from your refrigerant lines, and then move on to getting it out. So how are we going to go about these bolts? How are we going to go about removing this AC compressor from the top or the bottom? The bottom's got a little skid plate. I think it's made out of metal or plastic. The best part about this is we don't have to really be careful with the AC lines, because everything is coming out. Well, if the customer asks you to. If they don't ask you to, leave the line in. Just take the compressor out. But compressor has to come out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go about it through the bottom. First, we're going to start off by taking the serpentine belt off. Here, right there, is your serpentine belt tensioner. What you want to get is I think it's a 15 or a 16 millimeter, and what you want to do is you want to grab onto the tensioner and you want to pull it upwards, and that relieves the tension off the belt and lets you remove the belt. And here is your belt routing diagram, so when you install your new belt, you won't have any problems putting it on. So let's get this car up in the air. Alright, before we jack it up, I gotta let you guys know, on some of these Park Avs, they have these auto leveling sensors where the compressor turns on, and when it senses a load on the back shocks, it tries to raise the vehicle. So what you want to do is, a lot of Ford Crown Victorias, they have a off button that you have to hit in the trunk that turns off the air shocks in the car, because it's actually really bad if you lift these cars up, especially the Crown Vics and Grand Marquis, and you don't take off the auto leveling sensors. You don't disengage the auto level sensor. So what I did is not only did I unplug the fuse, but I also disconnected it, because this thing wouldn't. It's a broken system, but I'm still doing it anyway just to show you guys, because some of you out there probably have a mint condition Park Avenue or anything like that, and that's what you want to do. And for you guys that really don't know a lot about the Park Avenues, I'm going to show you where your fuse panel is. It's actually, these things are pretty cool for their time. The fuse panel is actually right here by the headlight switch. What you do is you could take a flathead screwdriver, you could just use your finger, and basically push them in and turn counterclockwise, and it comes out. And here's your, I don't know if you guys could see it because of the light. Let me see if it'll adjust. There we go. This tells you all the, you know, what's what on the car. And I believe Well, no, I just looked it up. You're going to look for number 12. Number 12 right here is the auto level sensor. You want to pull the fuse out if you don't want to disconnect the module. I already disconnected the module, but you want to pull the fuse on this so you know that it's not going to activate. Next, we're going to find a spot to jack this pig up, but as we're waiting, we're going to find something to chock the back wheels up. You guys could use bricks, rocks, or anything. I suggest going to the auto parts store and just getting wheel chocks. They're really not that expensive, but remember, if your rear parking brakes work, then just use them. You really don't need the wheel chocks. It's just for added safety. But if I were you, I would get the wheel chocks, chock the wheels, and set your parking brake. Yeah, those parking brakes work okay. Not. Alright, it stinks of burning transmission fluid under here. I really think this transmission is going to take a dump, but the owner wants to keep her going for a little while, so we'll see. So in this Park Avenue, what we're going to do is it has a cross member in it. Well, it's called a K-frame, very similar to the W bodies, like the Grand Prix and such, but it's in a Park Avenue. I don't think a Park Avenue is a W body. I'm actually pretty sure it's not. This under here, do not ever put a jack under it because it's weak metal, and that is where your radiator is, and you will be replacing the radiator. You will see right under here, under this K member, there's a cross member that goes right across that my jack is under, and there's a flat spot right in the middle. And what you want to do is you jack it up from right there. Alright, once the bag of shit is lifted high enough, I'm going to reopen the hood. I always like these hoods on these cars. I was actually looking into seeing if I can convert this over onto my W body Grand Prix. It would be cool to see the hood open like this. And instead of having the Buick symbol, put the Indian Arrowhead and Pontiac right under there. Alright, so once we're ready, we could take off that skid plate that's under there, and we'll work on getting this AC compressor out. Alright, getting back to safety. Once you got it up to the desired level, get your jack stands. Place a jack stand on any part of your subframe right here, on each side, or on a flat surface. What I would usually do is I would put a jack stand right up on here on each side, because we got to keep this space free, because this is where we're going to be working, and these look like 10mm bolts. We got 1, 2, 3 bolts holding this in, and then we're going to be able to get that compressor out. But like I said, jack stands, put them here, put them over there, but make sure they're on the frame rail. Make sure you don't put them on the control arms. That's attached to the spring, and you're just going to screw things up. So once you got everything secured, then we get to work on the car. Again, I'm not using the jack stands. Don't copy me on this, because I'm not responsible for your safety or anything else. So let's work on getting these off. Alright, now we got our 10mm. We're going to use our old friend. This makes the job go by really quick. Alright, so here we go. And here comes a 3. I'm going to need both hands for this one. Alright, so here's our AC compressor. Looks like we could get to everything from the back here. I'm gonna go over and see if there is any refrigerant left in this thing. I don't think there was, but I'm just gonna double check, because we're gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna have to relocate my jack, and by relocating it means I'm just gonna move it a little bit over, just a tiny bit. So we'll be back soon. Alright, before we do anything, let's disconnect the battery. I always disconnect the positive. I don't disconnect the negative, because I don't know. I just like disconnecting the positive. If you don't want to use this to crack it loose, I believe that this is a 7mm or a 6. I could be wrong, but just disconnect it, because leaving the doors open and stuff like that kill the battery. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's get underneath. We're going to take our metric set, extension bar, our swivel joint, 3/8 ratchet. I'm going to leave this up here. And let's take the main line out of the compressor. Okay, so we loosened up the bolt just a little bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pry bar and I'm going to pull it back because there may be a little bit of pressure left in there. So what you want to do is you want to crack it loose a couple of turns like that, and get your pry bar, put it in between the lines, and pull it back. And any pressure that's in there will get released, and then we could move out. Guys, if you don't have all the proper tools, you might find that you might have to remove the terminal from the starter. So if you have to, that's not a big deal. It's only a 16 millimeter. Alright, I picked the ass end of the day to do this, but here's the AC compressor. And pretty much the compressor froze up and the clutch blew up. So let's get underneath and see what we're working with. So here's where the compressor used to be. Here's the wire we're going to obsolete, and what I mean by that is we're going to tuck it away somewhere and zip tie it. And there was 2 main mounts. I forgot to tell you guys, right up on the top of the compressor is one more. It's a 15 millimeter bolt, and I think this was a 14. Let me double check on that. 13, sorry. So we had a 15, a 13, and another 13 right here. Compressor comes right out. So we're going to put in the delete pulley. Just want to clean up some things over here. And as far as this AC line is concerned, it's either, if you guys really don't care and it's a junk car or whatever and you're just beating on it, driving it around, just cut the lines from up there. I'm disconnecting the lines from up top, and I'm going to clean them up and put them in his trunk just in case, which I know is not the case, but just in case he decides to, put air conditioning in the car again. The line's there and it's not a hacked up butcher job. So, alright, let me clean everything up, and pretty much the pulley is self-explanatory. You're going to use these 2 holes, and that's where you're going to put the pulley, and that's where you're going to bolt it in, and you run your serpentine belt, and that's it. So let's finish up the job. Okay, so these are the 2 bolts you're going to use, even though it's a triangle and there's 3 bolts. I'm guessing it's application specific, and what I mean by that is different designs of the 3.8 liter. AC compressors, I don't think, are always in the same location as the 1989 3.8 is, so it gives you a little bit of a difference here. So we got our 2 bolts, and then we're going to use this. I actually went to the store to buy this, and apparently this thread locker gel is a discontinued item, and I got it for free. It was actually 1 cent, but he goes, here, just take it, and this is the last one they had. So $5 I would have spent, I got it for free. What this stuff does is you take your thread, and first of all you got to clean it. Alright, you clean it up nice. If you don't have one of those buff machines, just take, what do you call it? Take a brush or something just to clean out the threads, and you're going to apply this stuff on, and this basically locks the thread in. You don't ever want this coming apart, but not only are we going to thread lock it, we're going to torque these down just like we would with the AC compressor. So let's throw her in. Alright, so we got the new serpentine belt routed. Everything looks good. That's the new AC delete pulley down there. The belt tensioner was in really good shape, had a lot of tension and a lot of life left on it. And pretty much that's how you install a delete pulley. Now if you're wondering, okay, isn't that thing going to break? No, it's not, because the only tension that it's under is the tension of the tensioner and maybe some accessories while in use, like the power steering pump and such. So anyway, YouTubers, wow, what a dick. Anyway, YouTubers, this is 95 Speed GTA. I'm going to take some pictures. It's a pretty easy job. Without me documenting it, it's about a 30-minute job. I don't know what the book calls for, but I would assume that the book calls for an hour. So, YouTubers, 95 Speed GTA. Oh yeah, before I go, let's fire her up, see how she sounds. that's how our new pulley works. So we got a lot of things to figure out on this motor. It's got a crazy idle right now, and it feels like it's missing.